right. What is up, Bridgers? Today we are reviewing Lost Weekend, the 2026 album from indie pop's finest singer-songwriter, Phoebe Bridgers.
Shockingly, only her third album for as, revered her name is in the scene.
I'll never forget, after she dropped her second album, that was like 3 years, was it 3 years after the first album?
Yeah.
3 years after the second album, John's like, oh, Jake, she's due for an album. She releases one every 3 years. And I was like, she's only released 2 albums.
Well, I was wrong about that.
Now we're, 6 years later?
6 years, yeah.
So why don't you start us off? I'm interested in hearing what you thought about this album.
So Phoebe Bridgers overall is an artist who I really like. I like her quirky humor that she has on a lot of her songs. I like the serious topics she handles. But my main pet peeve with her is a lot of her songs on her albums blend together. Even though they have highlights in the songwriting like Graceland 2 and I Know the End and Scott Street, I feel like it's hard to identify a single song sometimes because they all just blend together. With this album, The Lost Weekend, every song has a distinct musical identity, which I really appreciate. You have The Outside, which is kind of an experimental electronic opening with those vocoded vocals that sound like Bon Iver.
I was going to say she's metastasized into Bon Iver.
You have Lost Boys, which is folk rock. Then you have Kill Me, and Governor's Waltz, which are more low-key kind of acoustic tracks. Then there's Bobby, which is probably one of my favorites, which is just a rocker. It's like a folk rocker. Love that one. Then The Lost Weekend is more experimental, and Haunted, which is probably my favorite song, is more of almost a bluegrass song. Interesting thing about this, the guy who plays mandolin on this album, Chris Tiley, he's in the band The Punch Brothers and Nickel Creek, and they do very alternative bluegrass. They're really, really good, and my dad is a fan of them. I actually sent him this song. I'm like, yo, Nickel Creek plays on this, and he enjoyed it. And then we get the second half of the album. This is my big problem with the album. Because she's collaborating with Mr. Chopped himself, Jack Antonoff, she borrows that mindset of, I know these songs aren't finished, but I like them, so I'll just
throw... Talking about the more interlude type tracks.
Yeah, like Panorama and stuff like that, so I'll just throw them on the album. And the album is already over 50 minutes long. You could just trimmed a couple of those ones off. Plus, some songs are like a minute and a half long. Like Never Going Back, I like it, but it's basically an Alex G song.
See, that didn't bother me as much that they're a minute and a half long, because I feel like since it's such an expansive album with so much storytelling, it almost seems like a transition scene for me.
Yeah, that's true.
What did you think of, so she typically produces with Tony Berg and Ethan Gruska, I believe his name is pronounced. They have produced all 3 albums, including this one. But this one, we got the additions of Jack Antonoff and then your boy, Alex G.
My boy.
I have not listened to much Alex G. I listened to some of his album highlights because how much you raved about it. And some of this does sound very, you can hear Alex G on this album 100%, just like you can hear Jack Antonoff. What did you think of Alex G?
I definitely think he adds something interesting. Obviously, he has her playing with a lot of different sounds, the vocoding, those like just electronic explosions on songs like Lost Weekend, which I really think is interesting for her because everyone's like, Phoebe Bridgers is boring. But like, I like that he's kind of pushing her to go in that direction because that is kind of my thing. I wish she made catchier music because I love her voice. I love her storytelling, but sometimes it's just her music can be a little bit too sad and down there. So I like that this album, the people around her, including your boy Cameron Winter, on the vocals. I think she has a lot of people, for the most part, pushing her in a really good direction overall.
Cameron Winter randomly credited as son John Johnson, unless that's someone else. I
Really?
don't know why they changed his name in the credits because his voice is so distinct. You can't hide that he's on this album. So I don't know what the point of doing that was.
Well, they weren't fooling anyone with that.
I can't wait. It is so obvious when he comes on that song.
Yeah.
One thing about this, I actually preferred the production, I think, a little bit more on Punisher, so I'm kind of opposite you. So Punisher, I think, was super, super soft. I know that is not for everyone. I really like soft music that sounds like where all the instruments are supporting the singer, especially with such a good singer-songwriter like Phoebe Bridgers. This album, sometimes the guitars and stuff feels like it's more competing for her spot, and that makes sense when it's like doing a guitar solo, but when it is like all this like very stringy sounding plucking that Jack Antonoff likes to do and keep in, he likes keeping in all of the ambience of everything. Sometimes it was a little distracting from the vocals. I overall, like you, absolutely love this album.
Yes.
Right out of the start, the song "The Outside," you just using the lyrical concept of being like carried through a crowd at a concert, also like carrying a coffin kind of thing.
Right.
She has so many good lyrical ideas throughout this. Governor's Waltz is the white pop girl version of Kendrick versus Drake. The beef has started. Gracie Abrams is obviously Drake in this scenario.
Yes.
Big night planned.
Well, who are you?
Why don't you have a seat right there?
It's actually goes pretty hard on them if it's actually about her former lover, Paul Mescal.
Really?
And because he is dating... This is now turning into like gossip session. I
Drama
feel like.
slop here.
Yeah, it's a little bit of drama slop. He's now dating Gracie Abrams.
What? Oh my god.
And I guess she performed a concert with a bed on stage that had the same blankets as Phoebe Bridgers has that are very distinct. So she has the lyric about like, you took my place in my bed on that stage. That's okay. It's difficult being me anyways, or something like that. So a lot of pretty hardcore disses on her and Paul.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if she's talking about telling Paul to commit suicide when she says, I know you you've not thought about jumping, but do it for me. I guess it's more jumping ship and not jumping off a balcony, but...
Man, she's not, she probably hasn't watched After Sun since the breakup.
I love After Sun.
Yeah,
That's
great
one of my
movie,
favorite movies. What did you think about the lyrics on this album?
I thought for the most part, like you said, there's some good lyrics like that, but I there's not as much quirk because like
Correct.
There's songs like one of my favorite lyrics of her is on ICU when she's talking about her ex-boyfriend's mom. She says, "It's amazing how much you can say when you don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
Like, that's such a memorable lyric. And for the most part, I don't get a lot of that. Maybe I'm just not analyzing the lyrics because I listen to this stuff when I'm distracted. So like, I feel like if I actually went in on the lyrics and listened to that, I'd probably get more out of it. But I think the production, performances are so good. Like I said, I love this woman's voice. I think that this is, honestly, I think I like this one more than Punisher, just because they're both great, but I think this one just has more distinct musical identity for each song.
Yeah, that's one thing I appreciate. Each album has sounded different so far.
Yes.
Like her first album was very much Stranger in the Alps was very guitar focused,
Grungy kind of.
The next album, Punisher, was more like very soft, like rubber bridge guitars with like a lot of synth work. This album is everything from the kitchen sink is thrown into this album. I was happy to hear Boy Genius on Haunted.
Yes.
That was a nice nostalgic moment since I saw them live.
With Dijon.
That's where I fell in love with Dijon.
We have to bring Dijon into this.
We have to always talk about Dijon. Still Standing is probably the most depressing song she has ever written about like her father abusing her mother, essentially. So that was pretty shocking that late into the album. I do like how Bobby, the song Bobby, and then Bobby's name is thrown not from King of the Hill.
Hey, Bobby, come give your old man a big handshake.
But Bo Burnham, I guess his name's Robert, so Bobby is referring to him throughout the album.
I'm gonna put my cat on the mic.
Dude, what are you doing?
I like that he is kind of a lyrical thread going through the songs. Like each song is not just a distinct story that's separate from each other. You also have her references to him that kind of makes it feel like you're following one character through a story.
That's crazy I didn't know that like her mom was a survivor of that, because on the end of Never Going Back, it has like her dad's voicemails. That's actually kind of crazy in context,
Yeah, I think it's her
songs.
trying to it's always that difficult relationship. It's like, how do you handle, how do you meld the good moments with the bad moments when you have like an abusive family member,
Right.
kind of thing. I will say, before I forget, Lost Boys is the Kyoto of this album with the
Yes.
trumpets.
The rocker, yeah.
That is the dad's song on this album for sure. Also want to mention, Kill Me. Did that song's intro sound like that one popular TikTok Lord Huron song? Lord Huron
yeah,
with the guitar
yeah.
plucking, The Night We Met.
Yeah,
It
a little bit,
Literally
yeah.
took me right to that right away.
Why am I thinking of this?
What is your overall rating of the album? Obviously, our ratings would adjust if we listened to this more. This is such an expansive, comprehensive album that really puts you into the scenes. But what is your impressions listening to it a couple of times? What is your rating right now?
I'm gonna give this album an 8.5 out of 10. It could go up to a 9. I'm excited to see where she goes from here. I gotta give this one 8.5.
Okay. This album for me is honestly about the same, like an 8.5 right now. I think sometimes that instrumentals get a little bit distracting from her vocals. It doesn't seem like everything. It seems like they just kind of threw everything in the mix and tried to make it all fit together, but so much stuff is stacked into it that sometimes it can be a little distracting from her vocals. We are going to rank her albums next, so come back to the channel for that. Go subscribe to John's channel. He's still working on that big video that might come out in a couple years.
Soon.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto.
It's going to come out before GTA 6.
Yes.
Let us know. Phoebe's next album will not, though.
No.
Let us know what you guys think about the album, and let us know your favorite songs as well, because I feel like a lot of times people connect to different songs. We might have missed something. All right. Take care.
Like, I think it's ending now, and there's not going to be, like, fireworks and, people falling into the earth center. I think it's going to be long and painful death.